complaining, would you like me to change you back to economy? That's when I told him, I think I'll be on my way. And then I sat in business. It's a simple example, but it happens. You've seen the documentary or movie, The Secret. Same thing. If you desire something internally, you really desire it, this shadeed desire within you, intense desire, it happens. Majority of time, at least. An example of formal dua. God forbid if someone becomes ill in our family, straight away, we run onto the sajjada, and we don't tell Allah, Allah cure this person. That's an informal method of speaking. We start with hamd and salawat, and we beg Allah, and we cry to Him, and we ask Him, please cure this person, and we make another, or ahad, that Allah, if you cure this person, I'll do X, Y, Z, a type of formal dua. So these two types of dua we have. We know that they both work, because it's work for us. But why is it that whenever we ask Allah, He's promised, ask me and I'll answer you. But why is it that He doesn't answer us? Not all the time. Sometimes we don't get what we want. Sometimes He doesn't answer us full stop. It's as if we're just talking to the wall, nothing's happening. Why? Because there's some problems in the method in which we supplicate to Allah. If we're able to get rid of these issues, I guarantee you that every single dua that you make to Allah will be accepted. Not me guarantee, Allah says it Himself. Call upon me, I'll answer you. Without a doubt, the ahadith are present as well. Let's go through these problems and see how we can begin to understand this secret and implement it. First problem, that we limit ourselves to what we ask for. Especially in this formal dua, we put limits on ourselves. What I can ask from Allah, what I cannot ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know a person, 6 years, he's never asked Allah for money. Why? Because his state is such, he doesn't feel that he can turn to Allah and say, Allah, please give me money. This may be your state at a certain time, but you can't let it be a state that continues. If you continue in this state, then you'll never be able to ask Allah for anything. You'll always be barred from what you can ask Allah. There's certain times that you ask for things and you don't, and other times that you ask for everything. Allah tells Musa alayhi salam, says, Ya Musa, ask me for every single thing that you need, even the grass for your sheep to graze and the salt for your dough. Even for the salt for his food, Allah tells him to ask him. Even for the grass to graze the sheep, Allah says ask him. The smallest things. We don't ask Allah for these small things. Look at Dua Arafah. How does Imam Hussain start? When he starts thanking Allah, he starts thanking Him for his molar teeth and I don't know what part of his body and the large intestine and the stomach. When was the last time we thanked Allah for the large intestine? When was the last time we asked Allah and thanked Him for our molar teeth or all these other types of teeth that we put inside? Premolars and molars. Never. Some of us have never even thanked Allah for this. The skin. How many of us have thanked Allah for our skin? Our fingerprints, our nails. If you didn't have nails, you wouldn't be able to pick up anything. When? When do we communicate in this method with Allah? If anyone's a father, you'll know, I give this example a lot, but you'll know that when a baby is your wife is giving birth, when the baby is coming out, your son or daughter is coming out, millions of things could have gone wrong. They could have been suffocated. They could have taken in water. They could have had themselves strangled with the umbilical cord. Everything was fashioned perfectly. When did we thank Allah for this? When did we communicate in this method that we spoke to Him with our hearts? This is the first problem. That we limit ourselves to what we speak with Allah. With our wife, with our husband, we'll speak about everything. Our friends will share everything. When it comes to Allah, we only share certain things. With the Imam, your Imam is alive, my Imam is alive. He's here, he's listening, we know that. Why don't we sit down and speak to him? Because we don't believe him. If we believe that the Imam was actually present, alive, listening to us, then we'd speak to him like we speak to each other. Face to face. Maybe we can't see him, but we know he can see us. Same with Allah. Speak to him, because you know he's as-Sami'. You know he's listening to you. First problem. Second problem. We ask for things that we shouldn't be asking for. You probably know of people, we may have fallen into this trap. They go and they ask Allah, Allah, I want to marry X, and if she's not good for me, then make her good for me. Finish. What does it show? It shows that you're telling Allah, Allah, I want you to work according to my rules and regulations. Work how I want, according to my desires, not what's good for me. Not that which is pleasurable to you. I want what I want, period. That's not how we speak to Allah. That's what stops our communication from reaching Allah. I tell you a story. Again, I might have repeated it. There was a man who went to Iran, to Mashhad. And if you know Imam Rida's shrine, in one of the Sahan, there's Sheikh Nukhudaki, his name is. So he's a mystic, he's buried there in the Sahan. And this man went into the Sahan, he asked the Imam, firstly, that I want X, he wanted something. He kept asking the Imam wasn't giving it to him. Then he went to this mystic. And he told the mystic, this is what I want, the Imam's not listening to me. Please, you give it to me. And the next day he got it. So he started thinking that Imam doesn't love me. Because Imam didn't listen to my prayers, but this man listened to my prayers. After a certain period of time, he found out that what he had actually asked for wasn't good for him. So he went back, angry now, into the haram, into the sahan. And he told that mystic, listen, if you don't know when to give, don't give. But where did the problem lie? Where was the root of the problem? The problem is that he was asking for something from his own desires. He wanted something, whether it's good for him or not. This is the second problem that we find. Look in the Quran, what happens to Nuh alayhi salam. وَنَادَى نُوحٌ رَبَّهُ فَقَالَ Nuh calls unto his Lord and he says, رَبِّ إِنَّ ابْنِي مِنْ أَهْلِي My son is from my family, and your promise is surely true, and you are the most just of judges. What did Nuh want? Nuh wanted his son to be rescued, to gain salvation. But how does Allah reply? Very strong reply from Allah. Smacks Nuh, if you want to call it that. He says, Oh Nuh, surely he is not from your family. This is Nuh's physical son. Allah says, surely he is not from your family. Surely he is the doer of other than good deeds. And then what does Allah say? Therefore ask not of me that of which you have no knowledge. Don't ask me for things that you don't know of. You ask for X and Y, you don't even know if it's good for you. So how should we speak to Allah when we come to these kinds of things? When we want something we don't know it's good for us. Look at Ayyub alayhi salam. You know the story of Ayyub. You know how he was inflicted with so many trials and tribulations, to the extent that his wife may have even left him. He was deserted by the community, ostracized. He had the disease where worms would fall out of his body. He had a very bad stench to his body. Finally he turns to Allah, and what does he say to Allah? What would we have said? We would have said, Allah cure me. Allah get me out of this state. What does Ayyub alayhi salam say? وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ And Ayyub, when he called upon his Lord, what did he say? أَنِّي مَسَّنِي الضُّرُّ He says, surely harm has afflicted me. I've been afflicted by harm. Then what does he say? Cure me. He doesn't say cure me. He says, وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ Allah, and you are the most merciful of merciful ones. Meaning what? Meaning if you want me to stay in this state, then I'm pleased with it. And if you want to get me out of this state, then I am pleased with it. I'm not going to ask you for anything, because you know what's good for me. But I'm just going to remind myself that, oh Lord, harm has afflicted me. This is a certain state. Like we said, Allah tells Musa, even ask me for the salt. So these are different states that we go through. What we shouldn't do is ask Allah for something and be absolute 100%, I want this, period, I don't want anything else. That shows that we want what's in our own desires. Let me give you a practical example of when we do this daily. How should the adhan be recited? In our centers, who is the mu'adhin? What is the quality of the mu'adhin? That he has a good voice. The mu'adhin is one who has a very good voice, and he recites the adhan in a melodious tune. Do you know, according to our Shia fiqh, that if somebody recites the adhan according to a melodious tune, like a singer, then it's haram. Haram. And if someone recites the adhan in a melodious tune, which is not like singers, but just melodious, then it's makruh. The only reference I can give you for this is Sayyid Sistani's Risala. If you follow Sayyid Sistani, the section on Adhan and Iqamah. It's on the left hand side of the page, a few rules down. After the Shahada of Imam Ali not being part of the Adhan, after that rule, a few rules down. So it's makruh to recite the Adhan in a melodious tune. But how many of us continue to recite it in a melodious tune? Now that we know that this act which we are trying to get closer to Allah via, this act in which we are trying to seek the pleasure of Allah, is actually makruh, meaning what? That Allah is displeased with it. Yet, if we continue to recite the Adhan in such a fashion, what does it show? It shows that I want what I want. Finish. I want to fulfill my desires. I enjoy reciting it in a melodious tune. People like